Welcome to this eMite training video. In this video, we will review how to configure a cube report. A cube report is one of the most common types of data blocks, and it can be used to show multiple measures and dimensions in a logical format. To get started, we have a brand new page, and on this new page, we're going to add a new data block. To do so, simply click Edit Page and Add Content. From here, we can choose the number of data blocks we'd like to add. We're going to start with just one. The subject of today's configuration is the cube report data block. A cube report can have several measures assigned over a logical dimension or x-axis. Since we're going to start off simple and edit this data block, let's begin with a very common use case, such as abandoned calls. Give your data block a title down here below. And for our x-axis, let's have it divided up by date. So let's name this abandoned calls by date. And click Add. To make this a little easier, let's expand this to full screen. If you hover over the header of any data block, you'll be presented a list of different icons. In this case, we want the two arrows pointing diagonally to maximize our data block. We'll begin by choosing what index the data we would like is in. In this case, I'm going to be using the call segments index. In the call segments index, there are a few different KPIs pre-built, including sums, minimum, maximum, percentages, and already built KPIs. This is where we can find the abandoned total KPI. To get this divided up by date, select the x-axis or category. This will give us a list of different options for dividing this measure. For the date, I'm going to scroll down to Segment Start. This allows me to choose whether I'd like my time frame based on the segment start time to be divided up by hour, half hour, or even by day of the week or day of the month. Because I would like this cube report to show the actual date, I'm going to choose Date, which will include the entire date. Next, we can add some filters if desired. If you would like this report to only include data for particular queues, groups, or agents, this is a great place to select those. Otherwise, we can create another data block to filter by time frame or other dimensions. Lastly, to choose a few options. These are going to help us if we would like to sort the data, or if we're going to be linking it to other data blocks, it's a wise choice to always choose linked date here. That way, as we drill through to other data blocks, the linked date that is filtered by on this data block will be carried through. If you'd like, you may now press Preview, which should give you a preview of what the cube report looks like. And lastly, hit Save and Exit. Great! Now we have our first cube report. Remember that we maximized this, so it is taking up the full screen. To get this back down in size, just hover over the data block header and click on that Minimize Maximize button again, the two arrows pointing diagonally. To resize and reposition, just click and drag on one of the corners or drag from the header to place it where you'd like on your dashboard. Now, if we would like to add additional content to this data block, hover over the header to be presented with the different icons. This includes the ability to change some of the font and styling, to create a copy of this as a template, to change the time, or we can even change this from a chart, as it is currently, to a grid report. To add additional measures or change any of the measures on this cube report, click on the pencil icon, which will allow us to edit. It takes us right back where we were before, including the ability to change the x-axis, the measures. Let me go back to full screen again. You'll notice here we can add additional measures, such as offered versus abandoned. Once I've made that change, just save and exit, and that will reflect in our cube report. Great! Now we have offered and abandoned by date. Let's shrink this back down in size. So that is how you create a basic cube report. Once you're satisfied with your cube report or any changes that you make to a dashboard, you will want to go up to Edit Page and save that page to save your progress.